Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. This is a guide for round 4 of the manufacturer series. Let's get this started. Use the 100 meter sign as your braking point. Get 2 wheels on the green area to help your car rotate a bit more and carefully accelerate. You don't want to accelerate too early, otherwise you'll end up on the grass and lose lots of time. Bring yourself to the right. Start to brake when the curb on the right starts, and you can let the car coast for just a moment, so no throttle, no braking, to let the car rotate around the turn a bit more. Slowly bring yourself to the left side of the track. Once you're in the middle of the right turn, you want to ease off on the throttle for just a moment, brake early for another moment, then brake before you reach the dark patch of tarmac just up ahead. Make sure you get your car rotated as fast as you can, and also be a bit careful on applying the throttle, as it's a bit bumpy when you go up on the turn and you can potentially lose control. Look for the arrows in between the 150 and the 100 meter sign, as those will be your next braking point. Brake as much as you can, then slowly bring yourself onto the apex, slowly start to accelerate, and then bring yourself to the left side of the track. Look for a dark patch of tarmac on the right side, as you want to start to ease off on the throttle before you pass it. Then before your car is pointing towards the white and blue barriers, that is when you slowly start to accelerate. If done right, you can eventually start to fully accelerate without worrying about hitting the wall that is on the left. Gently turn on this right-hander. Look for the 150 meter sign, as that will be your next braking point. Let the car rotate all the way through and slowly start to apply on the throttle. Don't end up on the gravel, otherwise you'll lose a lot of time. You can go through these set of turns flat out. Also go through this right-hander flat out. And you can take this first left-hander flat out, but then for this next one, ease up on the throttle a little bit to keep the car on the inside. Bring yourself to the left, use the 100 meter sign as your final braking point, and be very patient on the throttle, as you don't want to end up hitting the wall, and you are good to go. Let's finish this lap, and then we'll go ahead and quickly talk about the strategies. Normally when I do these strategies, I tend to show all the possible strategies. So for example, for this race, you can do softs into hards, softs into hards, mediums into hards, and so on and so forth. But the thing is that when you have people like PX7 Lamb and Duo 2 in your race, and both of them use one specific strategy, it's a pretty clear case of which strategy is the best. So I'm only going to show the strategy where you go from soft tires onto hard tires. The only question is, how far can you take the soft tires? So in this example, PX7 Lamb, he's able to use the racing soft tires for 7 whole laps. So at the end of this lap, he's going to go ahead and change on over to racing hard tires, which is pretty crazy because I was in this race as well. I was using the Porsche Cayman, and I was only able to go about 5 laps on racing soft tires before I had to change on over to racing hard tires. Don't forget that racing hard tires are required, so at some point you need to have them on your car, so either pit into them or start with them. Now when it comes to fuel, that's going to depend on the car you're using, but in my case with the Porsche Cayman GT4, I was shifting when the bar was around 75% full. Did that for most of the race, and I was just fine, didn't have to refuel at all. I was also on fuel map 1 the entire time. So as you see here, PX7 Lamb, end of lap 7, changes on over to racing hard tires and doesn't even get any fuel. Now, some might ask about the 2-stop strategy, and the thing is that even though you're not on the pit stop for that long, it's still valuable time that is lost. But if this race was just a bit longer, then I could see a 2-stop being very viable for this race. But right now, as it is, 9 laps, you definitely want to stick with a 1-stop strategy. And one last thing before I forget, there's a lot of high-speed sections, so you can definitely make use of that slipstream from the cars around you or ahead of you. But also don't forget that you might end up going through your tires a bit quicker. So you want to be a bit careful of that, especially if there's someone right ahead of you. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.